The bruises on my arm told the story I couldn't say out loud. I stood in the dimly lit kitchen, where Mama was stirring a pot of soup. My voice trembled as I whispered, "Mama, Uncle Femi hurt me." She didn't even look up. "Stop lying, Miriam. Don't embarrass this family." Her words stung more than his hands ever could. I stood there frozen, staring at her back as she continued cooking like I hadn't just said something that was tearing me apart inside. That was the day I realized no one was coming to save me. My name is Miriam, and I was 12 when Uncle Femi came to live with us. He wasn't really my uncle, he was one of Papa's childhood friends. After he lost his job in the city, Papa invited him to stay with us. At first, everyone loved him. He'd bring Zainab, my younger sister, and me sweets from the market. He helped Mama carry heavy bags home. Papa trusted him so much he gave him a spare key to our house, but things started to change after a few weeks. His smiles lingered too long. His hands would brush against me when no one was watching. And at night, when everyone else was asleep, I'd hear his footsteps outside my door. It started small. One night, he walked into my room while I was sleeping. I woke up to find him sitting on the edge of my bed, smiling at me. "You're a beautiful girl, Miriam," he said, his voice low. I froze, unable to move or speak. Eventually, he left, but I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, I tried to tell Mama. I said, "Mama, Uncle Femi came into my room last night." She frowned at me. "What kind of nonsense are you saying? Don't you know he's like family? Go and wash the plates." I wanted to scream, to make her understand, but the words stayed stuck in my throat. Missed opportunities. At school, my teacher, Mrs. Ademu, noticed I wasn't myself. I wasn't raising my hand in class anymore. I avoided my friends. One day, she called me aside after class. "Miriam, is everything okay at home?" She asked gently. I wanted to tell her. I really did. But I was scared. What if she didn't believe me either? What if she told Mama? So, I just nodded and said, "I'm fine." That night, Uncle Femi came into my room again. This time, he didn't just sit on the bed. After that, he started threatening me. "If you tell anyone, Miriam, your family will be ruined. Do you want Papa to lose his job? Do you want Mama to cry?" I stopped talking to everyone. I stopped eating. I felt like I was disappearing, but Zainab noticed. She was only 8, but she was smart. One night, she whispered to me, "Why don't you play with me anymore? Did I do something wrong?" I couldn't answer her. One day, our neighbor, Auntie Busy, came over. She was a loud woman who noticed everything. When she saw me, she frowned. "Miriam, why are you so thin? Are you sick?" Mama laughed it off. "She's just being stubborn. You know how children are." But Auntie Busy didn't look convinced. Later, she pulled me aside and asked, "Are you sure you're okay, Miriam? You can tell me anything." I wanted to believe her, but I was too scared. I just shook my head and ran back inside. One night, I heard Zainab screaming. I ran to her room and found Uncle Femi standing over her. She was crying, her tiny hands clutching the blanket. "Leave her alone," I shouted, my voice shaking. He turned to me, his face twisted with anger. "Go back to your room, Miriam. This doesn't concern you." But it did concern me. I couldn't let him do to Zainab what he had done to me. The next morning, I went to Papa. I told him everything. I told him about the nights in my room, about Zainab's screams, about how scared I was. Papa's face darkened, but instead of comforting me, he slapped me. "How dare you accuse Femi of such things? He's my friend. Don't ever say this nonsense again." I ran to my room and cried until I couldn't breathe. Everything came to a head a week later. Mama walked into Zainab's room and found Uncle Femi there. This time, There was no denying it. She screamed so loudly the whole neighborhood came running. Papa tried to defend him at first, but Mama wouldn't hear it. I should have listened to Miriam. She cried, tears streaming down her face. The police were called, and Uncle Femi was arrested. But the damage was already done. Even after he was gone, the house didn't feel safe anymore. Mama apologized over and over, but her words couldn't erase the pain. Zainab wouldn't sleep alone anymore. I couldn't trust anyone. I started seeing a counselor at school who helped me find my voice again. Slowly, I began to heal, but I still think about how much pain could have been avoided if they had just listened to me the first time. This story is not just about Miriam's experience, it's a lesson for everyone. It's about the importance of listening to children, recognizing the signs of abuse, and taking action before it's too late. If they had listened to me, I would have been saved. And maybe Zainab wouldn't have suffered at all.